Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
And it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people.
Yes, we are.
We're back and we have another really controversial topic, y'all.
All right.
I mean, him and I have really sat and disagreed on this topic, y'all. So we need your help. We need y'all to really chime in on this one.
Friends and family. We had to battle back and forth on this one just to make sure we knew what we were talking about. And that topic is mandatory paternity testing. Let's check out this clip.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
I think that paternity tests should be government mandated and required before signing any kind of birth certificate. Let's talk about it. Now, before y'all attack me for siding with males, just hear me out. Because to me, the need for a paternity test runs far deeper than trying to see if somebody cheated or not. Because think about it. While women do not have too many privileges in our society, one privilege we do have is the concrete, hardcore, physical evidence that the baby growing inside our belly is in fact our baby. But yet the only proof that the father has that that child is his is to trust that she didn't cheat on him. And to me, there's a huge imbalance in those two forms of proof. I can't touch trust. I can't feel trust kicking in my belly. And when it comes to a life commitment such as parenthood, I know if the shoe were on the other foot, I'd want more concrete proof than just trust before I commit to a commitment of that magnitude. And while this is nuanced and can make some very dramatic deliveries, I think it's needed.
That part.
Wait, so you agree with her?
I absolutely agree with her.
Okay, tell me more.
I mean, what more is there to tell you? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I understand a relationship needs to be built on trust. And trust needs to be paramount so that a relationship can flourish. And I think we have a whole lot of trust in our relationship. And I think that's what makes our relationship great. How and ever, I cannot touch trust. I cannot feel trust kicking in my belly. That is one of the things that she said that was real. Like, I can't do that. So where you have concrete evidence, I have trust. Now, is that a horrible thing? No, I didn't get our daughter paternity tested. I have no plans on it. It doesn't bother me none. However, it is hard. It is hard as a man to consider the fact that I would be raising another man's baby who's outside of my choice to do so. I have no issues with stepdads. I love it from that perspective. But even in there, you have a choice. You understand this is not your kid, but you're doing it anyway. That is different from you being duped into it and what kind of trauma, mentally speaking, that can cause on the masculine from that perspective. That's hard.
Okay.
That's tough.
All right. So hold on. Let me slow you down a little bit because we gotta break this apart because I'm okay. All right. Okay. Yes. So you're saying that we're in a committed relationship.
Yes.
Married. Common law. Whatever
the case may be.
And we've talked about having children.
Mm-hmm.
We did all the things to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
And now you should get a paternity test. I mean, you were there when we made the child.
That's fair.
So how do you now, that really speaks volumes to the trust in our relationship. Because you're supposed to turn around and tell me you trust me, but I want to get our daughter paternity tested because I'm not sure. How else am I supposed to take that?
Well,
I'm your wife.
I mean, I understand that. And from our perspective, there's a big part of me that gets that. However, none of the scenario in which you just painted has anything to do with how to make a baby.
What?
So okay, for example, you said we're married. Yes. However, marriage is not a requirement for making a baby.
True.
We love each other and trust each other. Yes. However, both of those are not requirements for making a baby.
True.
And everything else that you mentioned there in the same way are not necessarily requirements for making a baby. In our particular instance, yeah, we're married and we made plans and that was exactly what we planned on doing. However, we could just be boyfriend and girlfriend and then you turn up pregnant. So in that instance, then what? If we've only been dating 2 months and here we are with a baby, what does that have to do? What does trust have to do? I don't trust you like that.
You trust me enough to do what we did to make the baby.
That is true.
So that's my thing. Like,
That is
it's all
true.
fine until the pregnancy, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the
So
pregnancy.
why? And I never understood that. We have you like, why would you lay up with somebody that you like you don't have any kind? Oh, I mean, you just wanted to get what you wanted to get out of it, sure. But now you have this life, right? That is a whole child. That's going to be a whole person,
Mhm.
and now who's affected now?
But
Because you had a moment. Now you're like, oh, I don't know. Now, and I'm not saying that.
How I say it?
I don't know. And I'm not saying, okay, I know there's so many situations where women get pregnant and that child is not the man. So I'm not acting like that doesn't happen regularly.
We're going to come back to that. Stick a pin.
We're going to come back to that.
Uh-huh.
That's different. I'm talking about people who are in committed relationships, right? And who are married, or you're together and you've talked about having children, and now you need a paternity test?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the paternity test tells me something that is very important for me as a man to be able to commit fully the way you as a woman in a relationship with this man want me to.
What if the child comes out looking exactly like you?
Now, see, here's the thing. In paternity court, Judge Lauren Lake, shout out to her, shout out to paternity court, always says babies come in all shapes and sizes. You can't judge a baby the way it looks solely. Now, there's some characteristics that you can judge. Like, I think eye color is more genetic than anything. So if I have baby blue eyes for no reason, and the baby comes out with baby blue eyes for no reason, totally chocolate baby with baby blue eyes, that's probably my baby. Because there ain't a whole lot of me walking around with dark skin with baby blue eyes, and here comes this baby with dark skin with baby blue eyes.
Facts.
That's pretty clear. However, to say that people don't necessarily look alike enough that, one dark-skinned man and another dark-skinned man couldn't necessarily have two children that also look alike is specious reasoning at best, I think. I don't know. That's just me.
I hear you. And I truly asked myself, could we make paternity testing mandatory? Like, could we truly make it mandatory in this country? Because for all the things that are mandatory, they're not really mandatory. You kind of still have an option.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Here we are. We're married. Hey, I'm pregnant. Oh, congratulations. We're so excited. Baby showers, cribs, car seats, the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. It's time to have the baby. Sir, do you want paternity testing? No. You say yes. And I'm like, what? Do you not see the kind of divide that will cause in a marriage? Especially if we didn't talk about this before. We did.
I hear you.
And we're not on the same page about this?
I hear you. But according to statistics, about a third of us men are raising kids who we believe are ours, who are not.
Yikes. A third.
So yeah, there's a big part of me that wants to go, nah, give me that test. Give me the test. Especially if there has been some element of, I'll say, mistrust. We don't even have to say infidelity, because in these cases,
well, see, now you bring up a whole different.
I don't even know that the baby is or isn't mine, but I don't know. So give me that concrete evidence so I can go all in like I want to. But if we've been dating let's say 2 years, right? And so we do have a semblance of trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we roll the calendar back, about a month before you told me you was pregnant, I definitely went into your phone and saw that there was some stuff that wasn't necessarily forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we kind of work out our issues, but now you're pregnant and you get all the way to the end. What you're asking me to do then is forego everything in my mind that's screaming, no, stop, wait, hold up, and just trust you.
Yes.
But in that instance, I don't have as much trust as you think. So now my whole basis for trust is based on your happiness.
Well, see, but then the trust was altered in the first place because
Which
whatever
was not
made
my fault in the beginning.
Well, you went into my phone for some reason.
Uh-huh.
So trust is altered from that point.
Uh-huh.
Just in your example.
Okay.
There was something that happened, something that was said, some insecurity within yourself that caused you to go into my phone to find something that now is giving you pause about whether you can fully trust me. So that started from
Hold on. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to label me as insecure if I go into the phone and actually find the thing that proves
what made you go into the phone?
Proves my point in the beginning. And by the time we get to the end, if I'm still going to stick around all throughout whatever the case may be and get to the end of the journey and say, all I need is this concrete evidence so I can move forward. And you're going, no, you sound like you got something to hide.
No.
Which creates more insecurity that you're talking about. So now you're creating insecurity in multiple places in our relationship, denying the fact that you're doing, which is gaslighting, and then telling me that my experience is wrong.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Let's hear what you're saying.
What I'm saying is,
speaking to my good ear,
you are now giving yourself ammunition to now say, this is why I don't trust you. Why did you go on my phone in the first place?
Because I clearly was feeling or something was said or I found something else and just needed proof.
That may not have anything to do with me. That could have been in some past relationship that you had
Fair.
of women that cheated on you.
Fair.
And now I got to make sure she's not cheating on me. So let me go on her phone.
Fair.
And
but
now
if
you
I
went
found
on my phone and you found something.
But if I found something and I'm choosing to go forward anyway, should I go get therapy? Yes. Should I make sure that I secure my own self emotionally? Yes. But what does that have to do with knowing the paternity of my child?
I'm not.
All I'm saying.
But listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me.
All right.
What I'm saying is, if we're dating, fine. If we're in a committed relationship, that's different. There's deeper rooted issues there. That it could be the paternity of the child. It could be this. It could be that. That could cause any number of things.
Okay. I can hear you on that. But I also think, and I'm going to go a little deeper now, okay?
Especially if you haven't talked to me about it yet.
Well,
so now you have all these issues. You done found stuff in my phone. You done saw things. I looked at some man the wrong way. You got all these things pent up. And now here we go and having our child. Well, I don't trust you, so I need a paternity test. Well, excuse me?
Well, maybe
you haven't told me anything about this yet.
But maybe it's not about you. That's number one. Maybe me knowing the paternity of my child has nothing to do with you. Maybe I need to know that for myself. Maybe I found myself in this situation previously.
True, but also knowing the paternity of your child is not necessarily going to affect the trust that you don't have in me. I
don't necessarily think that's the case. But
because it's not going to change what you found in the phone.
It's not.
It's not going to change that. Oh, she might be cheating, but at least this baby's mine. You still going to have the trust issues are still going to be there.
That's true. But what we're talking about here is not our relationship, but how I show up for the family. That's what we're talking about here. So that's number one. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper now, right? Because I think this is the more important aspect. It's really not about the cheating.
Right.
That's just the facade of it. That's the front part. Let's go a little deeper now.
Right.
For the child, it's important for them to understand their own history from a health perspective, that this is my mama, clearly, and that is my daddy for sure. I think that is so important, not just for me as the insecure man, but for the child who was brought into the situation unbeknownst to them. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't request to be here. They didn't sign no petition with other little sperms running inside and trying to figure themselves out. They are here because of our choices. and our choices shouldn't negatively impact them in such a powerful way so early on in life.
I think when you're talking about the traditional family, sure. But, and we're not going to go too deep into this. There's obviously so many cases where that's not the case. There's so many adopted people in the world, children in the world. There's so many people that know exactly who their parents are, and they're raised by somebody else who has the means to provide for them in such a better way. So yes, theoretically, I think you're right, because I think what you're trying to say is ultimately we need to do what's best for the child.
But
there's so many situations where that either can't happen, doesn't happen, shouldn't happen.
Examples like what? Give me an example of where that might.
So for an instance, a child whose parents were on drugs. Yeah. Do they have a right to know who their parents were? Sure, they do. But would it be in the best interest of the child to tell them that, yeah, that's your mommy and that's your daddy. Look at them. They're on drugs. Not necessarily. Maybe as they get older, sure, that's the case. But in that moment, what would be best for the child is for them to be raised by somebody who can provide for them, who can take care of them, who can, feed them and all the important things and help them become a successful human being.
I understand.
Right? And so when we look at what's best for the child, it's not always, okay, we need to tell them who their mother and father is. I think in the terms of a standard family and family dynamic, sure. But when there's so many variables and so many situations where that does not happen that way. And so
I know it doesn't, but I think it should. And what an example in my mind that I was thinking of was adoption.
Yeah.
Like and I've never been adopted, and that's definitely not my history. But in an adoption, the whole purpose is a lot of the time is we don't want to let the child know who we are as parents. We're giving up the child to another set of parents for their own good, for their own health and safety and well-being. But then that child comes up with a health issue and needs to know, literally to have quality of life or to save their lives. Who am I? Where do I come from? Is there a history? Because I'm experiencing this thing and the doctors can't diagnose me. Like, that's something that for me, even in an adoption, should be available information for the child, because all we're doing is causing problems for them later on down the line. And there are a lot of cases where that is in fact the case.
Yeah, no, I know. And I've heard of cases like that too. And I agree with you theoretically. I just think if you are giving up your rights as a parent, again, it's not cut and dry.
It's not. It's
so many different levels. I mean, there's open adoptions. There's adoptions where it's like, okay, I don't want any contact.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, it's the children become adults and then they go seek who their parents are.
Right. And DNA would definitely make that type of thing easier.
So
and that could make it a lot easier.
I think we might have do a part 2 of this one too.
Holy crap.
But the one question I wanted to ask you, babe, before we go is, if paternity testing became mandatory, should the man now be automatically, okay, paternity testing, you are the father, you are required to do ABC, pay this amount of money, spend this amount of time, whatever the case. Are the expectations of men now going to be higher? Because now it's your kid. You can't, no matter what, if she has evidence that you are not doing your part, automatically,
I'm not gonna hold you. I agree. I agree with that. I do.
Because at that point, it's not like, it's your child. So
the whole conversation is not about running away from your responsibility. It's literally trying to run toward your responsibility, but you want to run toward your responsibility. You don't want to have somebody else coming in and doing all the fun part, and then you got 18 years of the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. And in my opinion, quite frankly, salute. Let's go. I agree with that wholeheartedly. If we know full well this is your kid, and it's already been proven at birth this is your kid, and you're not doing your part, the full extent of the law should come down on you, in my opinion.
So do you think, knowing that, most men will want to get tested at birth?
Most?
Paternity testing?
Most? Yes. Most?
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely yes. Now, will men screw that up? Probably, because people screw that up. But will most men be better if, how do I say this? The men who are screwing that up now, who are unsure, a good strong percentage of them, in my opinion, would do better by the child and by the family if they were sure. Now, some would definitely continue to screw that up. And circumstance aside, that's true. But I believe most men, and maybe that's optimistic, but I believe most men would do their best in their situation. Now, their best may not be a Bentley when the kid is 5 years old. Maybe not. But their best is their best. And I believe that they would do that wholeheartedly, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I can believe for the others who are just going to screw it up anyway, yeah, the full extent of the law should come down. Currently, though, the full extent of the law are coming down for men who are not even the father. People who are not the father, no way could be the father, are named the father. And then all of the 18 years that comes with it and all the child support payments, people going to jail for years on their lives. And the kid's not theirs.
Yeah, but that's not the majority.
Hold on with the yeah buts. Years of their lives in jail. We're not going to yeah but that away.
I know, but it's unfortunate, but I don't want that to make it seem like that's the majority of the time.
It's not. It doesn't have to be the majority, but it doesn't have to be anybody.
Well, that's nothing.
That's the part.
That's
it
nothing
doesn't
in the
have
world
to be anybody.
Nothing
if
in the world
tested
is like that.
Babies when they came out against the person who says that they were the father, even making that mandatory, that would at least give the right person a ticket to jail when they don't do their job, and not the person who was just. There are boyfriends who became live-in boyfriends who now can be considered the father by law, who are now default and having to pay child support on kids who was never their kids. We all knew that going in. That's wild to me. But at least in that situation, you had a choice. In the other situations where you were duped and now you're losing years off your life, that's rough. That is rough. But this is a nuanced conversation.
It is. It is. And the first time we had this, y'all, it was just as back and forth. We were like, wait, I was like, hold on. Slow down. Slow your roll. What you trying to say? You don't trust me? Like, what's happening? But no. We have to wrap it up because we will talk forever about this.
So here's what we want to know. We want you to leave down in the comments below. Do you think that mandatory paternity testing should be a thing? Why or why not? Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. And no matter what happens, it's our bond and our unity that keeps us together. So
absolutely.
Remember to like and follow this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Everything we got going on. Be on the lookout for this new products that we have coming right around the corner. And as always, remember, we're better together.